Welcome to Her Life Unscripted podcast, inspiring burnt out, stressed out, and stretched thin women to embrace the unscriptedness of life. Hosted by Anna Osborne.
Hello, ladies, and welcome to Her Life Unscripted, episode 73. I am your host, Anna Osborne, and I am coming to you remotely from the beaches of Laguna Beach here in Southern California. And if you hear the ocean outside, it's because my room is overlooking the ocean and the sun is just setting and it is just extremely peaceful and beautiful. As you know, the Shine Retreat is happening right now. And for the whole month of October, I will be sharing the journey of the Shine Retreat. Each week, I will release a different episode that will take us through the 3 days of the retreat and then also kind of a week after. So like I said last week, the whole purpose of this is not to promote the Shine Retreat or to say you have to come next year, but really to take you through this journey of me learning something new. As many of you know, this is my first time doing a live women's retreat. I have done many couples retreats, both within the town that I practice in and remotely. I do lots of speaking and trainings and work a lot with women and women's groups, but I've never done a remote travel somewhere and host a retreat before, especially with this number of women. So this is a very, very exciting time for me and one that I'm finding extremely vulnerable and exhilarating. And I just want to be able to share with you guys what I'm learning on this journey, because I really do believe that there are such just nuggets of wisdom that happen when we are doing. And we spend so much time making plans and thinking out and mapping out how things are going to look. And then we actually do them and we learn so much. So I really wanted to take this opportunity as one to be able to take you along on that journey as I am learning about myself through this process. So that is really the purpose of this month, is to really be celebrating the journey and not just looking at the destination as the final goal. So that's what we're talking about today. Just to kind of update you guys in real time for recording this, it is Friday, which is the first night of the Shine Retreat. And we just finished some afternoon activities and getting ready to move into some evening activities. So I came back to my room to change my clothes and just kind of rest for a little bit. And I walked into my room and there was fresh, hot mint tea waiting for me in this beautiful little arrangement in my room. And I have to tell you, it felt amazing to have the hotel staff, who are just lovely people, take care of me with this beautiful mint tea. And I'm a mint tea junkie. So for those of you that, are into tea, I love peppermint tea, mint tea. Candy cane lane is my favorite during the holidays, but I just love mint tea. And it just felt so nice to be taken care of. And it really kind of ties in with what I'm talking about with all of you today, which is this idea of taking care of ourselves. And I want to pause there for a second, because obviously this is not a new or novel topic, right? We always talk about self-care, self-care, self-care. And quite honestly, we live in a very predominantly self-care oriented culture, right? Where people are always saying, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. And yet it's staggering how often we don't do that. And so tonight, or today on today's episode, what I really want to talk about is kind of the unwinding, right? Of being able to allow a natural unwinding process to happen so that we can take care of ourselves. So obviously this whole weekend is dedicated to helping women learn to take better care of themselves. And there's been this amazing phenomenon that's been happening around this retreat for the last few hours since we did check in. So we're going on about probably 6 hours since the ladies arrived, and, they've kind of had their lunch and whatnot. And we've met with them this evening. And this really funny thing is happening where a good deal of these women they have this confused look on their face. And I've told them this, so this isn't saying anything disparaging that they don't, that it's not meant disparagingly, but they've got this confused look on their face because they're just sitting still. And it is mind-blowing to me to have this group of amazing, gifted women come together and all of them having this universal feeling of confusion around what it's like to actually slow down and put themselves first. And so a lot of people have been saying like, oh gosh, I just kind of sat by the pool today, or I just kind of went down to the water and just kind of watched the ocean. But they're saying it with this almost trepidation, like, should I feel guilty? Should I have been doing something more productive? And part of what's really cool is seeing them be reassured by their, fellow attendees that they're doing it right because they're taking care of themselves. And so my message to all of you listening today is that I know it is extremely difficult to put yourself first. I get it. I struggle with the same thing. I would love to be sitting here and telling you that I've got it all figured out, but I don't. And I mean that honestly, I really don't have it all figured out. I'm trying to learn this stuff just like you all are learning this stuff. And to have this many women come together and all have a similar confused look on their face as they are just slowing down and letting that unwinding naturally happen speaks volumes. Because my thought is it's not just universal to the women that are in attendance here this weekend. It's universal to all of you listening. And honestly, it's your time too. It's your time to let that natural unwinding occur. And I know for a great deal of you, it is extremely difficult for you to give yourself permission to unwind. I know that a lot of you have experienced validation by doing rather than being. And so what I want to encourage all of you is to let that confusion wash over you. Allow yourself to unwind, whether it's going to a park and just sitting for a few moments or pushing away the chore list and putting your feet up instead, just to see what's going to happen. Because I think for a lot of us, initially, we start feeling like, oh my gosh, right? Like, I am going to let myself do that. And then what's going to happen? Like, holy smokes, what happens if I let myself be? What will unravel? Who will be disappointed? Who's going to criticize me? Who's going to judge me? And sadly, I think for the majority of us, if not all of us, we have experienced that criticism or that judgment when we have put ourselves first. And so my really big piece to all of you is to be able to find people that you can surround yourself that encourage you to recognize that it's your time too. And that being on autopilot and just doing isn't really going to take you anywhere. It'll take you places, but not in the right direction. Busyness doesn't have a finish line at the end where you go, oh my goodness gracious, I was so busy and look what I completed. So what I really want to be able to do tonight as we talk is to be able just to plant the seed that it's your time too. And that allowing an unwinding to occur doesn't mean that you're coming undone. I think when we place so much value on the doing and the busyness, we start forgetting that we've actually kind of backed ourselves into a corner, right? Where the only way that we're able to see the value that we have is through the eyes of other, that we lose opportunities to also recognize that we have value when we look through our own eyes too. And so when we've externally, done, and given to so many other people, and we haven't given to ourselves, we set up this dynamic where we almost feel lost when we are by ourselves. And sort of confused by it too, right? It creates this kind of bewildered look of who am I if I'm not just doing? Who am I if I'm not busy? And what I hope to remind you as we talk together today is that you are amazing and wonderful and full of gifts. And none of that is defined by how much you do. It's who you are in the world that makes up your value, right? Do you have integrity? Are you honest? Are you respectful? Are you kind? Are you loving? Are you honest? Those are the things that are of value to you, not whether or not you're running around in circles and pleasing everybody else. And so if it causes you to feel confused when you put your feet up and say, it's my time too, if that causes confusion, or you don't know what to do with that time, right? That's what's really been cool with people today is they've been looking like, well, what should I be doing? Am I doing it right? Am I supposed to be somewhere? No, right? If you don't know what to do with your time, like your me time, then we need some practice here, because the only way we get better at me time is by doing it more, not by reading a book of how to do it or anything like that, but just doing it. And that's what I've learned through this process. I mean, granted, we're only on day one of this retreat, but obviously Mari and I have been planning for it for months and months. And what I have learned, and I learned this time and time again, and yet I need to be taught it over and over again, is that we learn by doing. And if we need to figure out how to take better care of ourselves, the answer is not in a book. That's just a fancy form of procrastination. The answer lies within you, of being able to turn inward, to slow down and see what feeds your soul. And so I encourage you to put your feet up, to go sit at a park, to go sit and look out at a body of water and just see what comes up. And I guarantee that for a lot of you, it's going to feel really uncomfortable at first because you're not used to it. You're not used to putting you on the list. And like I said, I'm guilty of that too. This is not me here sitting here as an expert saying I've got it all figured out. But the only way you're going to learn how to do it is by doing it. There is no learning that comes from procrastination. There's no learning that comes from more research on the same topic just to, confirm that you already know what you need to do. You're just not doing it. And so I encourage all of you to slow down and let the unwinding occur. It is a beautiful thing to witness these women firsthand, moving from a place of confusion to what my hope is by the end of the weekend, one of celebration, of recognizing that it's their time too, and it's your time as well. So thank you so much, ladies, for being here with me tonight and allowing me to chronicle my journey and my learnings over this next weekend and being able to share with you throughout the month, because I'm learning a lot. And as scary and vulnerable and challenging and exciting it is, I'm also so grateful that I've been given this opportunity and that I get to know all of you through this podcast and also get to meet the women who are here in person and also see and hear their unique stories and what brought them and how they're discovering that it's their time too. Thank you so much, ladies, for letting me into your world, into your hearts. I cannot wait to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Want to learn about the latest retreats, workshops, and speaking events hosted by Anna? Head over to herlifeunscripted.com to get in on all the juicy details. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast so we can continue to grow our amazing audience. Lastly, be sure and send in your voice feedback via the SpeakPipe app or to Anna@herlifeunscripted.com. We can't wait to hear from you.